And the next story, which I hope we're going to hear now, refers to St. Petersburg and to the initiative which was called among the folks as a laboratory, like a mix between laboratory and Labrador dog. And may I greet Marina Maraeva, who came from a northern capital, driving all the way with her Labrador, more exactly with the son, offspring of her Labrador. And then Ishika will assist Marina with her story about Intim Spot Gallery or Intim Place Gallery and the family of Labradors who are the protectors of this place and who are the founders of New Curators Traditions. And while the presentation, they're preparing for presentation, I'd like to attract attention of you all. As I said earlier, well, the segmentation of our initiatives in the project into 4 groups is quite conditional, of course. And as an alternative, we had offered, mostly to ourselves, the system of hashtags, which we can discuss in the end of our today's work. And all of these hashtags you may find on one of the paper tapes. We are very happy, emphasizing we, because I'm speaking for the whole, on behalf of the whole community, that we've been included into this project. So this is a survey. And we are the material of survey, of research in this particular situation. And I want to say thank you so much to Sasha Bukhova and all the Garages team, because in my view it's the most noticeable study of research, and in terms of its meaning, I would say it's going beyond our local context, but it's really important on the global scale, because it describes and takes into account the whole succession of different epochs. Yes, I know that I'm pretty pressed for time, so let's start with explain us why you call it Labradorium, and who is Labrador Guidon or Guido, and what is he doing now? Yes, we live in a slightly different morality, and I'm a lawyer by basic training. It's my profession, and always I'm covering up with Vidon, the dog, because when you have a gallery where you don't have special selection system, it's very good when you're a dog. So guess what you can guess about art, but you can understand what something is going on, and that's truly fun and full of joy. And Gvidon, chronologically probably the Gvidon, the first appeared in my life. Well, he was the first appearance in my life, and then the art followed. That's why it's called Labradoria or Labradorium. So what about our mission and our concept? Well, to a great extent, it's deriving just from the fact that Labrador is a very important part of this intimate place. One of the organizers simply we can't show you him here according to the museum regulations, but in true terms, Vydrina is now not far away. If you come to the plaza, if you come out to the plaza in front of the garage building, you'll hear his barking because he's having lots of fun. Well, so of course, security didn't take up, the job of looking after him, but some people got really interested and we really made a little reception area, impromptu, outside, and after we finish work, we may come out and rejoice this new curator's practice. Well, it's always difficult to speak for somebody, as if you take away somebody's voice, but without doing so, you can't much get around, and there's a certain advantage if you do, right? And as I said, my lawyer's experience gives me a certain distance. So, and what does it mean? That means representation. And the role of representative has certain advantages. Because when you are representing somebody, not directly resolving your tasks and problems, advocating yourself before the world around you. Not selling. I don't want to sell. Selling you. I didn't want to bring, this term. But may raise a very important issue for today and ask you a question. Well, I'm sorry for my very hectic story. And while we were talking to the park service, and the very fact that art is really taking place and shape outside there on the street, that's important. And here we're only kind of contemplating, reflecting, on it. And that's my new experience of today, thanks to today and garage. Well, I understand all your intentions, Lenin. I understand where you're going, but also I want to share a little bit with you about my representation role and what really I'm doing here, because I'm invited as Marada, and I can only conditionally represent the whole community, same way as I can only conditionally, represent Vydrina, because these are kind of parallel practices. It's very hard to imagine what is the community, same way as to imagine what's going on currently in the head of the dog. And even trying to imagine and getting this image, we cannot explain and describe opinion and reflections of each member of the community. But community does exist, and that's really great. And the intimate place purpose is just to provide site grounds for interaction. Now, by the way, we have one of the artists who took part in this project, wonderful project, which was called Morning in the Mouth. Well, for quite a long while they existed in a separatist way. They didn't play institutional games, and in real terms they have great education, very special expressive language, and to make such situations one of my missions. So you're touching subject of community. Tell us how you got together, who organized the intimate place? Well, my classmate, she wanted to exhibit her graphics, and It happened in December last year, so she wanted to do it in some public space, and there was already feeling that some tight pressure, some kind of elite presence, and although she was rejected, refused, and for example, when she wanted to exhibit the works of Alphabet Group, which they did together with Olga Grachon, that was a kind of advance of alphabet, some kind of new invented words, well, quite a lot of, obscenity tags, which had emerged in our vocabulary last year, because the logic of the war is kind of promoting people in using, these extreme forms of linguistic expressions. So immediately it was banned to use, the obscenities or obscene lexics. And I had the apartment where I was almost completing the repair, and the idea was just to do the body practices, just dancing and movement. So there was a special, exercise or dancing room. So the hall was whitewashed. Well, usually one wall had to have a wall-size mirror, but it wasn't installed. So when everybody came to this exhibition, by we, it's kind of very blurry, definition. I don't want to outline the limits where it ends. So quite clear, if we would see the whole thing from outside, well, it looked like, the school of involved or involving art. It wasn't exactly that, but, to a certain extent, parallel to other things, it was this kind of arrangement. So everybody who gathered that evening on the opening night of the exhibition, in the place which is now called the Intimate Place, and that's one and only name it bears, they started somehow communicating, talking, discussing why such a strong, impressive exhibition. Why can't we arrange it in some other, places in St. Petersburg? And there are such places. So in principle, this is not a mission impossible to find right spot for such exhibition, right place. But all these hurdles relevant to finding the place, they kind of start demotivating you. So you start to kind of alter, rearrange your initial message, just applying and feeding it, for sizing it up to the more affordable concept, more to the grand. Nobody's talking here about some big time lines, or but still some compromising. And so the idea was born. So really it would be absolutely great if there were no curators filtering or selection. And since this idea came out not from some empty, because we had there already jokes, stories, traditions, and Vydrina also was part of it. He is a certified graduate of the art school. Okay, now you tapped on the organizing issue of the Intimate Place, and aspect of decision making, and also you stress the fact that your plight of the idea of no selection. Well, definitely we have, always with us limitations and limits, framework of the time and space. But perhaps with time we'll be able to somehow alter these aspects too. But how an artist can have an exhibition on his space? Can you explain how we do it? No, we never rejected anybody. Well, definitely the artists should understand. They do understand to whom they demonstrate and show their work. Because you show it practically to the community. We're not on Nevsky Prospect, we don't have big banner. We only deal with our community on the Facebook. And that's already a kind of a principal situation, fixed situation, that we exist on existing established platforms, or we use the most ancient ways of dissemination of information, like word of mouth, and they're not bad, and that's the most natural way of spreading news, and that's a great tool, because those who really want to get this information, and those who are not interested, well, they simply avoid overloading with some surplus information, because surplus information is a big problem of our days, of today. And that's why we believe that the manifesto of the intimate place is a serious thing. And by the way, it's accessible in the edible version of Google Talk. So it's accessible. So as you see, still we have, we feel that much was still underexpressed. And I want to ask you a question referring to the space. As you already said, it's your apartment, but this space is already bearing the name of the intimate place, and definition of its purpose and function is a public space. So intimate place is used as a collective or shared place. So how do you live in this situation? How you dare to make such decision? Well, my last summer I spent practically out in the country, my dacha. Now I have sort of my micro residence, so probably in the future I'll be just commuting between these two places. That's my life plan for the future. It's not easy, but it's also very interesting at the same time. And I was not, truly speaking, to live there permanently. I had plans to leave for Lisbon because, well, my husband is there, where he's learning cognitive sciences, and initially I didn't have a very strong personal attachment to this place. Yes, I lived there, but the last, strokes of repair I was doing with inner feeling that somebody else will be living in this place. Perhaps I'm giving you too broad and too spread answer. Well, if I have some more time, I'd like to do some free talk for the last part of my time. Well, we really miss communications with others because there's big lack of information about what's happening next to us, and as for this problem still in our scope we can tackle, but of course big investigations will really help to understand what's going around, because well, the purpose of the intimate place is to overcome limitations and frontiers and closeness of each community. Yes, because they form and they develop their own expressive languages within each nucleus. But we should always keep in mind that love for people and our openness will generate certain tension on this borderlines, on the meeting points with other communities. Maybe it's not very correct to speak this way, but I think these are just natural laws of life. Accent the scene or something like that. I'm not very keen on that, but this explosion of emotions immediately generates kind of hostility and rejection on the side of those who are not part of this, feast of love and friendship. And that's one fact which stands in the way of forming our general field. And secondly, well, it generates very deep suspicions and thought when somebody else is so much looking like you in terms of his choice of occupation, way of life. And I don't know, I would say that most people don't like monkeys a lot, don't like very much ape because they're too much resembling people. That's why they prefer dogs.
You were speaking about breaking the borders. So how long have you been existing? Well, we don't need this total destruction. We just should have a space where people from different communities can come together, at least in theory. But you show only artists from St. Petersburg. No, this is not true. We had the group Repa from Saratov. As just there are certain regular partners for information dissemination, and it's true. You can use our table, you can edit our table through Google Doc, you can describe your project, you can apply online, you can describe the support that you need. So if you include your name in this table, then you have to indicate what help you can provide for other projects. So this information is indicated in the last column in that table. So this is, again, practice that can help you push the boundaries. I'm coordinating this process so I can manipulate it. I try to call people so that they could help, for example, during installation or during other works. And I do advise you to do the same. If you have an apartment, do something like that. You'll have a lot of fun. And speaking about that link to edit the resource on Google Doc, you can see the information on our stands here, and you can find information about every single project, every single initiative that we are discussing here. And please come to St. Petersburg, come and visit us on the Facebook. We'll be happy to see you.